So JC and I were just thinking about what to read, and so I have completely thrown out what I thought I was going to read tonight, and I'm going to read something else. But I want to start off by saying what a pleasure it is to be reading with JC, Todd, and Jim Mancinelli at the Pen and Pencil for Bob Zell. Bob and JC and Jim seem to me, I was going to say, fixtures of the Philadelphia writing community, and I'm especially pleased to be here in their company. As soon as I wrote that out for myself, I thought, lately I have been all too intimately involved in what might euphemistically be called home improvement, and that word fixtures now seems way too flimsy for me, when what I mean is maybe a load-bearing wall, a sustaining wall, a structural element we depend on for stability, for security, to keep us mindful. So I'm really, really grateful for all you do to keep this town standing, unlike my house. Okay, so I'm going to read a few poems from this book, Glitter. They're older. Those of you who've heard me before maybe have heard these poems, but I think that they're good poems for a bar. So here's the first one. It's called License, as in a license plate. I didn't ask for a new license plate. In fact, I liked the old one just fine. 3 letters that spelled nothing, insinuated nothing. 4 numbers that didn't add up to much. A plate not even a policeman would be likely to remember after, God forbid, an accident or, yikes, a crime. So imagine my dismay when the envelope, thick, protective, double weight, split open over that cold face, that cutting edge, that startling number, the number of the beast. First, those 3 letters of gosh-awful, Kabbalistic portent, which I'll keep, thank you, to myself. Then 6, 6, 6, then 0, as if to gesture, after me, the ultimate void, the endmost consummatory absence. I wonder, would it be worse or better to be dealt 4 sixes, more emphatic, but equivocal? As it is, and this seems even stranger, no one but me has noticed. No shaken fists or fingers pointing after me. Only a matter of time, I figure. The other day, driving the cold streets of my city, the city of brotherly love, I got boxed in by a herd of horses, bangtails and broomtails, the nags that haul the heedless tourists past Independence Hall. And one was white, one black, one red, one pale as death, bone thin with rampaging, and all their eyes were rolling. I'm driving now so cautiously and slowly, the other drivers curse and crash and wreck themselves jockeying around me. See what I've started? Already off the coast of Spain, the seas are boiling. Already over Iraq, the skies have rolled up like a dead scroll. Already in Brazil, a 1/3 part of the trees have burnt and all the green grass. It's got so on bad days, the sun's black as sackcloth of hair, the moon's as blood, water's wormwood bitter. Like a fig tree in the backyard, casting off untimely fruit, the stars are falling. O Nostradamus, O John of Patmos, I will write upon him my new name you promised. If you were here, I'd ask about that woman clothed in sun, with the moon at her feet and stars in her hair, like where and with what currency does she buy her clothes? And that other woman, all scarlet and purple, all glam and glitter, gash and glare, the one who rides and drives the beast. I need to know her real name. That's part of a sequence of 4 poems. Every one of them ends with that last phrase. So this is also from a sequence called Singing Along. And there are 2 parts to it. One that are about being in a chamber music concert where a woman who had tickets and sat with her husband down the row from me always sang along with the music. And it was clear she had dementia. It was clear she was not there, but it was really unsettling, and people were always trying to hush her. And it's a sad part of this poem. This first part is sad only to me. Okay. All the rock stars of my girlhood are touring again. The leer and sneer and scowl lines scored so deep in their cheeks I can read them from the back row in the dark, even without my granny glasses. Their roiling chest hair, where every teenage woman of discernment longed to scrape her petal lips and fingertips, that chest hair silvering and tarnishing over the stretched scoop of a tank top, the loins still girded, leathers cinched tight at the bulked-up, bulging crotch, jeans slung low to ease a paunch, everything gusseted that can be, the teeth fixed, smile fixed, the hairs crawling over the head. Not that I'm disparaging. All the guys my own age look old enough these days to be my daddy. All grizzle and gristle, the muscles gone pudgy, jowls starting to hang, notches in the belt where the buckle's lost its grip, cock a little sheepish and apologetic. So when the band takes the stage, slinging the mics, whipping the guitars, left legs pumping nearly in unison, smirking, ooh, snarking, ooh, ooh, baby, baby, they can play the sugar daddy, sure, it's just fine by me. And the crowd, sitting so sedate and graying, nevertheless goes wild, strapping down hard on the backbeat clap, whistling out long screaming streamers, clouding about with their shouted vowels. O bending into A, yo to yay, whoa to way, ho, hey, go, stay, everything open and animal, nothing wincing or picky, no skittish, immaculate syllables. And when he hits the stage, you know who I mean. There's that collective ah, the pleased breath of the crowd thickening the eased breath of the band, blending imperceptibly into the backup vocals, the concatenation and echo or drone live under the amp's deepening bass line. Wow, yow, zow, between his startles and his stops, his dips and his lunges, nobody thinks to wonder, is he tenor or baritone? Even before he brings on his grown-up sons, the youngest girls are flinging themselves flowers at his feet. Yes, he could still have any body at all beneath those clothes, and we'd be happy. Birthday ribbon and crackly paper, the dangling piñata. I'm not the only lady feeling girlish, tweedling my hair, tugging my shirt tail over belly and butt. There's a sea of us here. We're undulating, levitating, rising to the bait. Me too. Can't help myself. I'm breathless, witless, my mouth moving with his, the closest now I'll get to his kiss. Thank you. So here's another brash poem. It's called Squeeze. It's a love poem. It's true. I go to sleep. Sleep comes to me. Same difference. No other love I've had turns up so comfortable and easy. Other men won't stay the night, won't let my new toothbrush stay over. Sleep wants me anytime. We've got each other's keys. And he turns that key so soft, I won't know he's come until he's left me. I'll be sitting upright in my chair, reading serious and fast, or sunning lazy on the back porch, swinging, thinking on anyone but him, and then I'll come sudden to myself, drooling from his kiss. He knocks me out, leaves me slack-jawed, my eyes quivering, rattling my eyelids from within. Falling, they call it. I fall for him day after day, night after night. Yeah, sometimes I've had to fend him off. Sometimes I've waited days on end for him to show. He's put his hand over my hand on the steering wheel, veering it. He touches me in public. My eyes glaze, filling with him. Or he's taken me, brutal, in the greasy kitchen, or rough and dirty on the fireplace rug. He's cricked my neck. He's marked my face. Sirens scream. He's all over me. It's true, I'd stick with him through anything. He moves his finger like a sigh, pillows me, eases me, slows me. Want to double date sometime? I hear he's got a brother, older, darker, yeah, also deep, yeah, also trouble. So I think that was about 10 minutes, and so I'm going to read a couple of others from what I had thought I might read tonight. I was telling JC earlier that I thought that I wanted to go archaeological. So here is a picture of a sphinx, a boy sphinx, and here is a picture of an older sphinx. So I'm going to pass these around so you can remember what a sphinx might look like. The boy sphinx is who this poem is about, but the comparison is in the poem. And you can see the original of the boy sphinx. I'm just naming him a boy sphinx, he's not really a boy. You can see it at the University of Pennsylvania Museum of Archaeology. This sphinx is from Nimrod, from about 800 to 700 BCE. Boy sphinx. Who'd anticipate such joy? Like every other sphinx in Nimrod, he's tasked interminably to stand and stand, guard and guard, stand and guard and wait. But he's new to it and quivering with his vigilance. Head high, wings up, plump-cheeked and keen-eyed, he's poised for anything, there at the arm of your chair, not recumbent, not just sitting around. See the staunch chest, the armored shoulder, the promised heft to the tail. See how eager, how hungry he is. Any other sphinx might seem generic, even jaded. Legs stiff, tail coiled, headcloth a mere drape, crown a quick curve, the ear too large, the eye too low to the nose. Not this one. The cloth of his headdress curves back like hair, a swinging bob, and his crown flames true, like he's just learned to balance it. Curve of belly, arc of flank, every sphinx is slender. This one's lithe. Think how he'll undulate as he runs. Yes, he's running as he stands, the shoulder bunched, the elbow sharp, the forearm set to spring. He hails from the largest city in the then known world, from a palace raised of cedar, cypress, juniper, boxwood, mulberry, pistachio, and tamarisk, stuffed with gold, where his king Ashurnashirpal flays the city's enemies, hacks off their hands, slices their noses, puts out their eyes, spreads their skin out in piles. And maybe this boy too will grow like every other sphinx, treacherous, merciless, ravenous. Time will tell. Time that's already eroded him, most of the wings scabrous and the limbs largely gone. But he's still alacritous, hair bound back, lips just parted in a smile, his eye so bright, 3,000 years have yet to dim it. So I think I'll read a couple of much briefer poems. These two have some illustrations that go with them. This is a print by an American artist, Ed Ruscha. It was done in 1973. So I'll hold it up from here and you can see, you can't see anything, actually, you can't see anything, I know that's true. But there's like little specks all over it. And so look at the other pages and you will see that those specks are actually bugs. Really bugs. Okay. So this is a poem called Swarm. It's here somewhere. Here it is. Often in pairs, but never in couples. By two and by two we agitate, itchy with indecision. No place to go, so we circulate, circumnavigate, circumambulate in migrant pointillism. Nothing to see, but we're right there to see it. Spill something for us, smear something around, and we conjugate. no congregate, no concentrate, no constellate. We're a fold or a fault in the canvas. Quagmire or chasm, rupture or fissure, seep or caesura. An entry, a wound. By two and by two we accumulate, nearing to almost something approximate, a hunch or a hedging, a blind guess or a sidestep, a cult or a quibble, a vacuity. We can authenticate, we can denunciate. We'll never really cogitate, cooperate, conciliate, or consummate. And here's another like to that. This is a print by a person named Jane Logerman, and it's from that same era. You'll see it's a lithograph, but it's just like lots of little dots, lots of little streaks, from 1987. This poem is called Audit. So many dits, there's no time for a da. Counting them up on the wall, on the floor. How many days gone? How many breaths left? Sometimes exhausted, sometimes insistent. How many in cells? How many in chains? Sometimes two strokes together. Red letter. Here's a short gap, a brief pause, a paragraph. Then she starts up again, counting the clouds, counting the rain. Keeping track, keeping pace, and each iteration an affirmation. The I of it, the I of it. How many laid next to each other in graves? No stammer or stutter, one line after another. Each syllable a sentence, if you see how to read her or hear her. Now, in that introduction that Bob shared with you, he mentioned this little book here, Birds of North America, grandiose title. This is a collection of paintings that are in real life just as tiny as this. This is their exact size. So really small paintings that were done by Philadelphia artist Susan Hagen. And then Lisa Sewell and I wrote poems and to go with some of the images of the birds. And we enjoyed this so much, we think we're going to continue the project next summer. But in the meantime, I'm just going to read you one of these poems. The poems are really satisfying, I would say, together, because the poems are interlinked. And so, so it's very nice to see how a line from a first poem turns up altered in a second poem. But I'm going to read you this one, which is about the northern cardinal, the cardinal. I grew up in South Carolina, where cardinals are everywhere. And every year, my grandmother made paintings of cardinals, which were not professional, for the church bazaar. And so late in my time in high school, she was trying to teach me how to do this, and that's what this poem is about. Ink the sky a dusky gray from edge to edge, my grandma lessoned me. Frowning over my shoulder at the red bird I'd inked against gray sky at her direction. My weak eye tilted the branch he perched on, bunched the magnolia I copied into a thickened fist, turned the bird's beak snarky. Come here, she chided, pointing her finger. Pew, 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 or Snarky herself. He's got a lot to say. Meanwhile, outside the window, he'd be swaying side to side, exulting, purdy, 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 black masked and bibbed, as his modest wife nestled down in grape slips and bent grass. I tell you this, not just from memory, that inky dusk, that clouded eye. Edge to edge, the paintings here, never sold as intended at the church bazaar, but kept, I have to think, because imbalances and attitudes suited her. Herself, a bright red soul against the winter white among the smaller sparrows. Thank you.